Well, welcome back, everyone. You know, we're hunting for herps. And do you know what herps are? Neither do I. But we're going to find out with Lindsey Gallagher from Johnny Appleseed.
Oh, good work, Chris. You're going to love the herps. Spring is salamander season. It's my favorite time of year because I love those herps. And what do I mean? What is a herp? It's a shortened word for herptile, which is kind of an older word that we gave to an animal that was either a reptile or an amphibian. And it comes from the Greek meaning crawling things. So when those scientists were classifying everything, the critters that they grouped together as herps were the crawling things like the lizards, the snakes, the frogs, the salamanders. So those are all the herps. And spring is a great time to go looking for salamanders in particular because it's really wet this time of year. So we've got a lot of spring rains. Our soil and our forests are really wet, and it leaves lots of moisture into our rocks and underneath logs. Spring is also the time that we have these small pools of temporary water forming. They're called vernal pools or spring pools, and they fill up in the spring and are a great place for amphibians, the frogs, the toads, the salamanders, to lay their eggs. They'll dry up by midsummer, but it's a place where fish and other animals can't eat the eggs, so it's where those salamanders and the frogs are growing up. So herping is the art, it's a little bit of an art and a science, of going out to find these herptiles where they are in the forest. And I have an assortment of things up here for us today to kind of show you what you would need if you're going out herping, right? So we have over here some rubber boots, right? You're gonna want to keep your feet dry, either with a tall pair of rubber boots or maybe even a pair of hiking boots that are waterproof. Because you'll be looking in vernal pools probably often, you might need a small dip net that you can do just kind of to the shoreline or where there's some leaf litter. Dip in and find, especially those juveniles. So like tadpoles, right?
Yeah.
Tadpoles are the juvenile form of frogs, and that would be a great herp that you could look for. You might need a bucket with you to kind of put your herps in, or you could use a small critter container like this so that you could study them. And you're gonna need some type of field guides here. These are from the Ohio Division of Wildlife, but there are lots of resources that you could use. The important thing to remember is that when you are looking at your herps, that you're gonna put them back and you're gonna put everything back the way you found it. And you should be doing this on your own property, unless you're out in the parks with one of us, then you're herping with us. So as you're going out, you might find something like this big log.
Yeah.
And one thing I like to talk with folks about how to turn logs, again, we're making sure that we're putting everything back the way we found it, but you always come to the back side of a log and you're going to turn it away from you so that if anything's underneath of it, oh, there's something underneath of it there.
What is it?
Something has an escape route to get out. You might find a herp that could hurt you, so you want to make sure it can get out from the front. And inside, oh God, I found a rock under a log. Look at that even. So we're gonna turn.
And right here on the desk as well.
Right, oh my gosh. We're gonna turn the log carefully again, get behind it and pull up away from us. And Chris, what do we got in there? Can we?
Well, I'm guessing that's a herp.
It is a herp.
It's like a little lizard of some sort.
So it's a salamander. I have a spotted salamander in here. That is a native to Ohio.
I like the colors on it.
There we go. So yeah, so it gets the name spotted salamander because it is this kind of dark or dusky gray with bright yellow spots, usually 2 lines running down its back, and they kind of wiggle in around each other. But you can see that he has very moist, wet, slimy skin that identifies him as an amphibian, and he's got a tail. So he's not a frog or a toad, right? A salamander would be an amphibian with a tail here. These guys, like I said, are native to Ohio. They're found throughout Ohio in wet forests. However, it's really unlikely that we'll see them because they like to dig deep underground, maybe even 3 or 4 feet. They're a type of mole salamander, and you know how moles like to dig underground. Kind of makes sense with them. But he's our state amphibian, really cool guy. Another thing when we're looking for these herps, especially with salamanders, I didn't touch him with my hands, you saw? So amphibians' skin is very, very sensitive. They actually breathe through their skin. Some species of salamanders don't have lungs, and so they're only breathing through the skin membrane or the mucous membranes in their mouth. So we always should pick up a herp on a piece of log, maybe on a leaf or on a little bit of dirt underneath the rock that they're on, and not touch them with our hands. And remember that we're putting everything back the way we found it. We want to not hurt anyone or injure anyone, so I'm going to put everything back just like I found it.
Interesting. So do herps bite?
So anything with a mouth can bite, Chris. That's what I always tell people. We want to make sure that we're not touching the herps anywhere around their face, and we're not giving them an idea that we're food or that we're going to be hurtful, which is why if you're herping, you're doing it on your own property or you're with one of us at the park district. So make sure you're being responsible and being safe out there.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was such a thing as herps here in Ohio.
It's my favorite thing. Absolutely.
We learned something new, don't we? All right, well, thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Chris.
Well, don't go away because we're more to be returned.